If you could tell yourself something right now, knowing everything you know now, you can tell yourself something from 3 years ago from when you were first starting, because I'm sure you've grown a lot in that period. What would you say to yourself?
You can't get yourself in these situations. Like taking that next step is so daunting, but once you take it, don't look back.
Someone said it, I can't remember who it was, but it was like where every time you grow like that, you get imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, it's good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's a good feeling. That means you've fucking grown. Because otherwise, you're doing the same shit you were doing 3 years ago. What are you doing? You just wasted 3 years.
If I feel bad about working with someone from the beginning, it's like, nah, I'm out. I don't need you. Don't need you. And you mentioned manifesting before, and it's that same thing. Like you're looking at it and going, this is what I want. This is the type of person I want to work with. And guess who I start to attract? All the right people in my life and the business. And now I don't have shit clients. I don't have a single client that I would say I would never work for them before again. Or I don't see this relationship as a good one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to $1 Million Days. I hope you're having $1 million day. We're here with some special guests today.
Go for it.
Go for it. Buddy, champ and pal. No. We said we were going to forget the names. So we're here with Damo, Lockie and Brad from Precise Plastering Group. Thanks, guys, for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
No worries. So, we wanted to get you on the show. It's been probably a couple months in the making, actually, to get you guys here and have a chat on the cast. And I've known you for quite some time. We've done some work together for quite a few projects actually now, and I've seen your journey and your growth over the years, and I thought it would be great to get you on board and have a chat about everything you guys are doing and have done and where you're going in the future.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. So no one knows who you are. Not no one. Most of our audience. Most of our audience won't know who you are. So tell everyone, maybe one by one, introduce yourself, and then also a little bit about what you guys do as well.
You go first, Damo, or go this way?
I'm Damo. I run the construction side of the business. We do a lot of industrial shop fit outs and base builds for some business parks and homemaker centres.
So will you do the whole fit out, like from start to finish?
Some of the base builds we do, it'll be just the base build. Other times it's a base build and a full fit out.
Yeah, nice.
With the office fit out side of things, it's a one trick pony. We come in and do everything from carpentry, plastering, right through the painting. It's a one stop shop pretty much.
Yeah, nice.
And glass and everything like that. With the industrial, we're doing some big business parks where, like, same thing, taking a lot of the packages away from other trades and just packaged up with us, and we push the job along a lot more efficient that way. The business has taken off. Like, we've had a few issues getting to where we are, but every business does. But the growth has definitely taken off in the last 6 to 12 months. But yeah, it's good.
Awesome.
So Lockie, look after all the maintenance and insurance side of the business. So we've got that sector that I look after, probably 20 guys on that side of the business, plasterers and painters. Got a couple of chippies as well. So dealing with anywhere between 10 insurance companies and then your private works on the side. That could be anywhere like patch and paint jobs or small renos, jobs like that. So I look after that side of the business. It's chaotic at times, or most of the times, but I think it's a big part of our business.
Yeah, nice.
We didn't want to put all our eggs in the one basket, just doing projects. So we've separated it that way, and I think it's grown massively in the last, I reckon even last year. We've seen a big growth in that side of the business.
Yeah, nice.
Good stuff. That's it. I'm Brad. I'm in charge of the residential and business, and I have a business development role within the company. So I'm, always tinkering with different ideas with the two boys and in ways that we can grow the company. We're 3.5 years old, probably sitting at around 65 to 70 staff within the three sectors of the business. 2 full-time estimators now. So we're always tinkering with different ways of doing things. We're all looking after different areas within the business, which is, I think, has been able to elevate the two companies and take it to the next level. And yeah, we're starting to see the rewards now and the growth between the three of us by you know, it's been a the start's been was a roller coaster. You find yourself taking, you know, unnecessary risks and things like that to try and get a name for yourself, and it didn't really pay off for us at the start. Well, we almost lost everything that we'd made after our first year. So we definitely learned a lot of things in that first year. But I think, you know, credit to the three of us, the way that we've been able to bounce back and turn this two businesses into a bit of a juggernaut at the moment is something that we should be really proud of.
So they're two separate entities, or is it?
Yeah, they are. So yeah, go.
I'll give the rundown. So Brad and I have been best friends since 4 years old, since we're in kinder. Went to primary school together, kindergarten, high school, done our apprenticeship together, played footy together. Like, we've grown up.
Who's the better footy player?
Well, I saw you. You just did 300 games. You just got your 300 games. There you go. Pretty good.
He's left out that he got dropped for the under 16. I've got that premiership ring here, but David, he still hasn't got one of those.
Everyone. It's easy when you're just hiding in the back pocket, though, isn't it?
That's right.
No one can see it.
There's a little hide in the back pocket. I thought trying to kick off. So yeah, we started. So obviously we worked together for a long time. We've known each other for a long time. Sorry. Working for the same boss. Then we kind of went our separate ways. I was doing my jobs on the side. He was doing his jobs on the side. And then it was like one day I had a big job. I'm like, hey man, I need some guys. Like, I can't do this by myself. We're both still working full time. Butted heads together. So joined heads together, and then we decided to join up together. Start Precise Plastering Group. Started with 4 guys, including ourselves.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
So not every company starts with 60 people, and to get to 60 people, and that's all on payroll, yeah?
So it'd be 35 on payroll.
So 35's regardless. That's a significant payroll each.
Yeah.
You pay weekly,
Yeah.
your boys? So you've literally got a payroll that's going to come out of, I'm going to say it's over 100 grand.
It's daunting.
Do you know what I mean?
It is.
On a weekly basis.
It's scary.
That you look at and you go, holy shit.
Yeah.
And like for everyone listening, just think about your payroll and where you're sitting at the moment, and wherever it might be, big, small, whatever it is. Yeah. You can see the pressures that you've got when you're doing over 100K a week in payroll, and then going how important it is for cash flow in your organization as well.
And I think as well, like putting that pressure, we've got that pressure on ourselves, you know, like I think I pay the guys before we pay ourselves, because everyone deserves to get paid every week.
Yeah.
No one has ever missed getting paid weekly from us, even if it's put us out. You know, at the start, I'd mentioned earlier that, you know, we probably nearly lost everything. We had to put money from our own pockets in the company to keep it growing and keep it moving.
Yeah.
That's one thing I pride ourselves on, is that, like, our guys, I make sure that, you know, things happen obviously, but I make sure that everyone is.
And that's great. It is noble. It's great that you do that, and you're investing in your company. You knew the return was there. It wasn't, you weren't flogging a dead horse.
No, that's right. That's right.
And you love that. Robbie loves to say that. Love this. But the return was there, so you saw that, and I think that's great, and that's one thing that you should definitely be proud of. I was very proud of myself, even during COVID and other times. I've never missed payroll either, not once in all the years I've been.
People's lives, and people's got families.
Absolutely,
people rely on that weekly.
Absolutely.
So I think it's.
I think what's critical for you guys as well is just because you've got such high turnaround on wages, on expenses, on everything going on in your business. You really need someone with a finger on the pulse at all times. So is that one of you in the business, or have you got like a CFO? Have you got C-suite in your business yet, or is that something you're looking at doing?
It's kind of Brad and I reckon.
Yeah.
We're all over. We're all over that stuff. He's
That's
a bit
good.
more than me.
Yeah, that's really important, because it also comes to and we've spoken about this on the podcast previously, but being able to make decisions at the right time is going to be so critical for long-term success. And whilst you do want to always look out for everything and everyone, you always need to protect the ship. You know what I mean? Because if the ship sinks, everyone's fucked.
There's no jobs for anyone.
You're no good. Your employees, their family, like your suppliers, your builders, everyone's fucked if the ship goes down. So you always have to be mindful of exactly what you're doing and how you put it, stressing yourself and the business to make sure that it's always viable venture that you're going down.
Just to put it into perspective, right? We lost everything that we'd made up after 12 months. Had to go to the bank, take a loan from the bank just to pay our staff, just to keep our heads afloat for
And that,
3 or 4 months.
that was because we had a dodgy bill to rip us off, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But like no fault have I ever done everything right. It's just he just like,
They still around?
he just went missing.
Nah. God,
I still haven't heard from him.
Yeah. But is he still? They still trading?
Do you still try and call him?
Yeah.
That's one thing Lockie won't go there. He's constantly
Because he put us in a big hole, man, and he actually nearly sent us bankrupt. Like we had to take out money and invest our own money, which is fine. It's your business.
Yeah.
But it was a scary time, Like
It is. We've been there too. Like you were on one of our jobs where a client didn't pay us.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you got to get that. And then again, something that I look at and I'm proud of, at least I've always paid all my trades as well. And look, on that one, admittedly, it took me a little bit longer to pay some people.
Yeah.
Because we had to then get that cash flow from other avenues and other jobs and make that. But that's where you can really get stumped in this industry is you get that one bad person that does the wrong thing by you and it can send you broke.
It can actually send you back.
Yeah.
Like, even just having invoices paid 2-3 weeks late. Material bills for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They call putting your accounts on hold. They call it.
And that's right. And then
because it's outstanding.
Paid, but it's like, well, when? Like, that's one thing that's scary when you start growing and having those bigger months when you're invoicing so much.
Yeah.
Like, it's all good to have the work and do the work, but sometimes it's chasing your money, getting paid. Like, you don't want to be chasing your money.
And this is where, for you guys, it's good that you're doing that, but even having a CFO at that level that's just watching money like a hawk, because you're getting to that level now.
Well, my wife's about to step on board.
Yeah.
At the end of the month, so that's going to be pretty much a role for her. Yeah. Just
awesome.
And don't get me wrong, I like to think that we do have a lot more flexibility now, being off the tools.
Yeah.
And there is 8 or 9 of us in the office now, so it's not like there's not one person that can do it.
I love what you're doing because honestly, there's not enough people that think like that. Especially in the building space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even other businesses as well. People are too involved in doing the day-to-day operations that they become a slave to their business. Do you know what I mean? And it's good that you've got that.
It's better to work on your business than in your business.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you remove yourself from there, it just gives you that opportunity to look back. Like even myself, where and again, openly said it on this podcast, but I'm in the process of getting a general manager at my construction business so I can take a further step back.
Yeah.
And that's not because I want to avoid doing work. I'm probably going to be even busier.
For sure.
However, at least it does give me the opportunity to go, all right, now we can go from turning over 8 figures to high 8 figures or 9 figures or going into state or looking at investment projects, whatever it is. We're opening another business.
And for us, we like when we put on our 2 supervisors or construction managers running each side of the business on the construction side, they run the day-to-day on site. So it's more you give them the free rein to run those sites. And these guys have come from an experienced background running commercial guys with 40 guys on the site. So for us, having that experience has been helpful for us to run the sites run a lot smoother, and they're dealing with the day-to-day stuff on site. They deal with the guys where the guys want. They're pretty much reporting back to you. So you can just look at finding the work, winning the work, giving it to them, and then it's just managing them pretty much.
The guys that we've put on as well, I think have more knowledge than us in the industry.
That's it.
And we actually the 2 construction managers that we put on, actually me and Brad worked with in the past. They were our supervisors. But we were apprentices growing up. So if there's someone that we looked up to and trusted because their knowledge in the game, then obviously we built up our business and that side of the company, and we're like, fuck, let's just poach them from where they're at, because their knowledge is priceless.
And I think the way that we've gone about it and the decisions that we've made from very early on in starting the businesses have all kind of paid off for us. So I don't know, there's probably a little bit of luck in that as well, but we've always said from the start that, hey, let's not be the guys that think that we can wear all the hats. All right, I'm not a bookkeeper. These 2 boys aren't bookkeepers either. Let's bring someone in that's going to start watching the numbers closely for us, that we can sit down and he can go, hey, let's have a look at the numbers this month. You're sitting fantastic. Or hey, let's have a look at the numbers. Why aren't you making money?
Their expertise, right?
That's it.
Their expertise. So then you bring in estimators, okay? So when we first started, I'm not an estimator. I can go and price a house or price a renovation job or whatnot. But if we wanted to take that next step and start pricing, multi-million-dollar projects, I don't have 3 days or 5 days or a whole week to sit in front of a computer pricing a job. Let's bring someone in that can do that. So what happens is, yes, you're investing, a little, more money than what other people, people look at those figures and go, shit, that's a lot of money to be paying someone. Like, what are they actually bringing in? But when you're turning over 10 or 15 or $20 million a year and these guys are costing you X amount of dollars, it's all worth it in the end. And I think we've never thought that we're better than anyone in the business. We've thought, let's bring this guy in, let's look after this guy, and he becomes part of the family. And that's what we're like at Precise Plastering Constructions. We're like one big family, and we just
That's why we try to implement it to the staff. We try to look after everyone as best as we can.
Yeah.
Whether it's office, the guys on the ground, even us, we look after each other as best as we can.
builders.
That matters.
It's looking after the guys, like the guys that if you look after them, they'll be with you for a lot longer, like especially the young guys who are coming through, like you see the potential and you give them the opportunity, and like they're the guys that'll be with you for the rest of life, for another 10, 20, 30 years. Like, it's not trying to use it for 6 months and then get rid of them. It's like, look at the growth. Everyone knows how you run your business and how you run your jobs. It's easier for me to have the same guys doing the jobs that have to teach
training someone else up.
It's so easy to the job. You're not getting the efficiency out of the guys because you're teaching someone every time they come through.
So that way as well, you're growing together. So we know how they work, they know how we work, and then we're just working well together because we've been together for so long. We have very little staff turnover. I reckon we probably had
It will be under 5 staff.
under 5 staff that have left in 5 years.
In fact, that's really good, man.
Sorry, 4 years.
That's very good, yeah.
Under 5 guys.
So when you guys started, you were both on. It started off the two of you,
Yeah.
and then you got added in later on.
Yep.
And you were both on the tools.
Yeah.
Yep.
I speak to people who work in the construction space daily.
Yep.
Most people still stay on the tools for a long time. So what was it that you guys had to either believe or adapt to turn around and say, hey, like, I need to get off this? Because I speak to chippies turned builders and they still do their own chippy work. They're still on site doing the frames, putting up the truss.
I think that's what stops those guys going to the next level.
But why? Like, why don't they do it? Why did you?
I think, like, it goes back to what I was saying before, right? So, before we merged forces, Lockie was doing a bit of estimating for the company that I was working for, and I was, you could call it, site supervising, project managing, some high-end jobs in the city, EBA stuff, some non-EBA stuff as well. And so I'd already been off the tools for probably about 2 years.
Okay, so you had a taste for it.
So I had a taste for it, and I knew what needed, and what process and what things needed to be implemented to be able to take a business to the next level, right? So when we first started, obviously we literally started this Precise Plastering. I think we chipped in $3,000 personally each to start this company. So you're going back to like no company cars.
You're getting a pretty good return, huh?
Yeah. no company cars. You're working out of your bedroom pricing jobs. Like,
So it's good though.
You're starting from scratch.
Start from the garage.
You're setting
That's
up.
how it was, yeah.
You're setting up Excel spreadsheets to work out profit margins on jobs.
I think we were writing it down on
We
paper,
might have,
mate.
and then I was trying to convert that into an Excel spreadsheet and try and work out percentages and profits. So, but that was all done after hours. So we were dead set, like,
Work during the day.
work during the day, and then like it would be price jobs at 3, 4 o'clock. Go and price them quickly, send it over. But it got to a stage where we just started letting people down, quite frankly. It was like, I'll come look at your house, say, Robby, on Monday, and I'm not able to get you the quote till,
2 months.
But say 2 or 3 weeks, you know what I mean, on something that's so simple, just because family life, takes over, your wife doesn't want you working, writing out quotes at 6, 7 o'clock at night. So the start for us was hard, and especially, after we thought we'd done so well, we might have made 150,000 or something in our first year. To lose all of that, like after the 12 months, was quite deflating. You actually, looking at each other thinking, well,
What have we
Is it
done?
worth it?
Is this really worth it? Like, you just
I think most business owners ask themselves that question at some stage in the journey. Yeah, I reckon that happens at least. It has to happen
Yeah,
at least
someone-
once, don't you
The big
reckon?
thing is that we weren't afraid to take risks.
Yeah, and that's. I think that's.
a big part in what you asked. Like, we weren't afraid to take a risk.
I think that's built into every person that decides one day that I'm going to go do this on my own. You have to be a risk taker in business. You have to be.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're inheriting another job.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean? Except you're calling yourself director, but you're the one fucking hammering nails.
Yeah.
And just to jump back into that with you, Robbie, I reckon those guys that are still, standing frames and putting truss roofs in and hanging plaster sheets themselves, right? Those guys there are too scared to put the trust into somebody else's hands.
Yeah.
That's why they wear all the caps. He's the bookkeeper. He's the guy that pays everyone. And what happens with that is they don't have time to focus on growing their business.
So I can guarantee you there would be a lot of people in that position listening to this now.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
Just don't be afraid to give somebody the responsibility in a role, so whether it's bookkeeping, whether it's accounting, whether it's project site managing or project managing. Give somebody the responsibility, so then you can go and be the hunter, be the person that's chasing the work, building relationships with clients. You're the guy that takes it. You're the person that's taking one of your favourite clients out for a nice meal. And, talking about how we can grow together and doing, like, George, we took you earlier this year into, a corporate box, North Melbourne, Carlton, Good Friday. How good, like, for me?
Yeah, it's great. But it's good
go
to
to
connect
Blues, by the way.
outside.
Go the Blues, by the way.
It's good to connect outside of work. And then we even met another one of your mates who was a contractor that ended up pricing some work for us.
Correct.
They didn't win the job, but the connection's there. That's right. The connection's there. And who's to say that one of those guys wanted to build a home and you're like, hey, come speak to George.
Exactly.
Whatever it might be. But regardless of that, you're right as far as building that connection with each other, because then it's the next time, okay, you guys are on this podcast today.
Correct.
Okay. This podcast, what episode? We're probably close to 40
Yep.
episodes down. So we haven't missed a week. This podcast will one day be a top 10 podcast in Australia.
Hopefully.
And it's not hoping, it's just consistency.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
that's it.
It's not a matter of going, hope, well, one day if we get there.
They will get there.
That's right. Like, you do the work, you do the reps.
Yeah.
People don't get past episode 20 when they start. That's
99%.
yeah, that's right. There's 1% of people
99%
get
of
past.
podcasts that get launched don't go past episode 20.
There you go. So it's what even this episode, there could be one person listening to this that gets in touch with you that changes your life in a massive way.
Is that
or a
like
little way?
Is that like the Huck Tour girl?
Yeah, that's. There could be one of those.
That's
But that's a great example, though. Like, to a degree, this girl has quit her job, has got merch coming out. Like, she'll be a fad. Like, it's going to go away. That's right. It's not going to last that long. That's right. But in saying that,
she has made the most of it. By
That's
Hasn't
right.
she, man?
That's right.
Man.
Yeah, she's got a manager. It's incredible.
That's what I mean. So you don't know what's going to happen by all these little risks that you take. Eventually, one of them, big or small, could pay off, big or small.
I agree.
And I think it's consistency is most important there. And also, as you said, backing yourself.
You have to back yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know guys in the position, their business is growing, and they're constantly on the roller coaster ride of finding the work, really having to do it, and then they have a slow period. It's like they're at the point now. It's like they know they need to take a step back, but as soon as they do, the things like stuff up pretty much. It's like you need to put the people in the position, let the mistakes happen, fix it, and then move on from that. You can't keep doing the same cycle. It's going to keep you going to go nowhere, and your business won't grow or stay at the same point.
That is one. I've heard that story so many times in the sense of, what the fuck's the point of getting them to do it? I can do it better.
That's it. Do you want something done right? You got to do it yourself.
It's micromanaging, man. You can't micromanage you guys. Let them do the work. Mistakes are going to happen, but if you can put things in place to minimise the mistakes and minimise the chance of things going wrong, then that's how it needs to be. Like, you can't be the person that every day at 7 o'clock when the job is open to get things to happen. You have to put you guys in the position so you can be working, managing the jobs, finding the jobs, and letting the guys do it.
Well, I mean, Musk said it. Do you know what I mean? He never went to Harvard, but the people he employs did. It's the same concept, though. Your boss, you were employing an ex-boss of yours. Do you know what I mean? You're employing someone. I used to have an old boss or an old business partner. He goes, I'm a C-grade student, but I employ A-grade people. He goes, like, you don't always need that.
Are afraid of that, like maybe it's an ego thing. You know
Afraid
what I
of
mean?
which? Relinquishing control?
Just not hiring people smarter than them. Like,
Oh,
it might be,
potentially,
It
yeah.
could be like an ego thing.
100% an ego thing, man.
But for us, we looked at it differently. Like it's
Yeah.
not an ego thing. They're going to help us grow.
So-
and we trust and can rely on them because we know them personally, and we know what they're capable of and what they can bring to the table.
And they look after the business as if it's their own. Like it's
They do.
our own. Like they're like it's not. Like
Yeah.
some builders go,
It's
there,
rare.
Like, why do you care? Like it's not your money. Like no, it is.
Yeah.
All the guys within the company, they see the company as their own. Like they're not just going to throw money away or not do something that like it's going to cost us money. They're like they look at it.
Well, that comes down to culture then, doesn't it? So have you done anything as far as, looking to build your culture as
We do it all
that?
the time.
Yeah. So what sort of things do you guys do as far as
just-
building your culture? Because I
just-
think at that size,
Yeah.
it's a lot easier to control culture in a smaller organization.
Yeah.
Whereas when you start to grow big, that's more personalities,
Yeah.
different points of view.
The
a whole
message, the
range-
message gets filtered.
That's right. It'll starts here. This is what we want. By the time it gets to the guy that sweeps the floors, it's like, I don't give a shit if we have to look nice in the office. Do you know what I mean? So how do you guys control your culture across 35
Yeah.
employees and another 30 odd contractors that work for you?
Well, the most recent one we did, we obviously with that many guys,
Pizza night every Friday.
Everyone likes pizza.
with that many guys, sometimes you have to have toolbox meetings and you have to have
Company barbecues.
company barbecues and that. So just previously, we moved into our new office. We actually purchased our own office
Awesome.
and factory, and we want the staff to come and have a look. So we had a toolbox meeting at the new office, fully catered for, bit of bonding,
Yep.
and everyone got around each other. Prior to that, we booked a couple of tables at like the comedy club in the city. Took all the guys out there. What else? No.
So we pretty much do something every quarter.
Every quarter.
So we
try to do something every quarter.
So quarterly catch-ups.
quarterly, catch-ups, whether it's
But
dinner,
it's
something.
also it's also to say like thank you.
Yeah.
To give back and say like we're not sitting up here just
Yeah. Living a
Count
good
that
life.
money.
kicking back. Like we appreciate the hard work that you guys put in. Like it's also to give back and say and show appreciation and say thanks.
Do you guys have, say, like mission and vision statements done for your company? Have you filtered to that level?
Not yet.
I think it's something you should look at because it's, again, if someone says, if I go up to one of your employees or either 10 of them, they'll all give me a different answer. What's it mean working at, what are you working for or what are you working towards at Precise Plastering? And like, I'm just here to stop and stand, mate. I'm really good at it.
Finish the job.
That's it. That's
Here
it.
to hang a door.
That's
or
right.
Here to paint
That's
a
right.
wall
So
or
I
whatnot,
think if you can start to go to that next level, then you can really get everyone on board with the direction of the company you're going in. And what it helps do is every single time you can ingrain it into all of your employees that every task they do, is this in line with our mission and vision of the company?
I love
Because if
that.
it is, then keep doing that. If it's not, then stop and go back to doing what's going to get us in that direction.
So one thing that we're about to start implementing is like company KPIs and things like that. Just to,
Really important. Absolutely. And again, even at your level, and for you guys to take the time to sit with each of your employees to go, hey, this is how we're going to do. This is what I want from you. Where do you want to go? Because the guy hanging sheets today may want to be a supervisor in the future. But if he doesn't know that you know that and vice versa,
absolutely.
then how is he ever going to go down that path? He might get resentful. He might leave. Or he might just be in his little corner because he doesn't want to take a risk himself. He might need you to say, you know what, man, you're a gun. I believe in you. Give it a crack.
I'll give you an example. We one of our young kids that we got working for us, his name's Josh. He's I've known their family for years. I actually was an apprentice and worked with his dad.
Yeah.
So now he works for us. He's how old is it? 24?
Josh, pull your finger out.
No. We've actually given him like a responsibility now as like a junior leading hand, because we see the potential in him and we can see what he can do. And we know he comes from a good family background. And he's one of those guys that, he'll have a job for life with us if, the way he's going and the potential.
He's got drive. He's got drive, and he wants to learn how every part of the business runs, not just from the carpentry through the plastering and how the process of how things are done.
Yeah.
He comes to work every single day. If he needed to work 15 hours, he'll work 15 hours. He didn't work a Saturday, he'll work a Saturday. But he's young and he's driven. He's not there to complain about, I need to go pull these sheets down or lift sheets up and onto a second story. He doesn't care.
What's your team? What's that demographic? Like, what's the age of your team average? Are they older or younger? So how do you find, because a lot of the consensus is these days that we're an aging industry, right? You're getting a lot of really good tradies exiting the industry because they're just old and done and tired and can't be fucked anymore.
Our youngest is 15.
And then you got your new batch coming through. So you would probably see this. You got the new batch coming through who are not being taught by those old guns that are fantastic at their trade, that may just be lazy, because again, the internet's a great leveler. Do you know what I mean? You can sit home in your pajamas selling paddle pop sticks and making 50 grand. Why the fuck am I going to be an apprentice for 30 and get yelled at? Do you know what I mean?
It's hard as well.
It's not, exactly. You're talking like you haven't got an easy slog.
They want to do a trade.
That's
I wanna
right.
be a carpenter.
That's
I wanna
right.
Be a painter. I want to be an electrician.
A plumber.
I want to be a plumber. They don't want to be a firefighter. They want to be a painter.
That's it.
So it's like it's hard to find that young.
So are you
generation coming through.
are you finding that as a roadblock at all in the
haven't
business?
yet.
Yeah.
Well, we actually sat down earlier this year, and I sat down with the boys, and I said, I think it's time now, because we're probably top heavy with age. I said, it's probably time now to start bringing some kids in and
Apprentices?
Apprentices,
Apprentices.
because like we had maybe like 2 apprentices like for the first 2 or 3 years, right? Realistically, right? So said to the boys, we need to start blooding some more kids. We need to start thinking about the future, not just today and next year and the year after. We've got to start thinking like 20 years from now, guys. Do you know what I mean? Like our construction managers are, we'll be in their 40s,
Like 50, early 50s.
early 50s, so like.
Who's the next person?
Yeah, who's the next? Let's start implementing these things. So we've got probably another 4 apprentices signed up with us this year. So now we're up to about 6, and we're going to continue to, implement these things to try and keep these kids coming through.
We're trying to do like a school-based one. So they get them like year 11, you get them a couple of days a week. So they pretty much, they come to us and say, hey, we can give you these kids. And if they're no good, you come back to us, or if they're driven, they do their apprenticeship. So it really adds time to their apprenticeship time, but they do all their schooling straight away. So by the time they finish school, they're pretty much done with their schooling.
Yeah, and can keep working.
You're apprentice.
Yeah.
So you're getting them ahead of everyone else, and then by the time everyone finishes school, they've already got an apprenticeship, they're already signed up, already done 2 of their years of their schooling. So it's getting in every year. If you can get one of them every year, so then by the time you get a second year, you get your first year, you're going to keep the young trades coming through the business.
They get a bit of pocket money along the way too.
That's it, yeah.
At least they can get a feel for the company too. If it's a fit, great.
Yeah.
If not, they've got other options because they're still in school.
Yeah, that's right.
They're not fully committed.
And they've actually got the mentor as well from the Head Start program or from their school teachers and things like that kind of
To help implement.
to keep them, their minds in check, like if we notice some, that they seem disorientated or they're disinterested in what they're doing, we can say to somebody from the Head Start program, I think, this kid's, losing a little bit of interest, and they can just have a little pep talk to him and they come back good as gold the next week. Do you know what I mean? So,
Cop to them, calling the office and saying, hey, you need to pick your game.
So they've got that support.
Yeah.
They've got that support, which I think is good, yeah.
Awesome. What do you reckon was the turning point from when you went to sort of, your 3, 4, 5 guys and then said, okay, let's go to 15, 20, 30, 40. What was that turning point for you? Was it always the intent when you started to be a 30 to 60 person company? Do you know what I mean? So what was that point where you go, okay, or was there a specific project you won? Was it something specific where you go, right here is where we're going to start getting bigger?
It was always our intent, but we never envisioned it to be or grow this quick or even like get to that point,
It's a time frame you've done it. It's all about
I personally think the bigger you're starting to get, the easier it's getting, because like you start attracting, better personnel within your company. Like people want to come and work for you. When in the very first stages of starting your business, you're trying to get people like,
They're like, who are you?
Yeah, well, am I going to come work for you, man? Like, what are you offering? Like a maintenance plasterer, or a painter or a carpenter, I can't even buy my car at that stage. Do you know what I mean? So now we've probably got about 15 or 16 cars on the road. Do you know what I mean? So being able to, repay the faith in, guys that have been with us for, 2 or 3 years. And I've always said, one day I'll get you a car. Like you're going to get a car. You're going to get a car when the time's right. So being able to hold ourselves accountable and deliver that person that car when the time's right. Like for us, I think it's it's been fantastic, and it's kind of kept those guys a part of the business, and they'll be with us for many years to go. But yeah, I think, you know, from when we first started, like I'd always envisioned having, you know, a 30 or 40 staff size company, not to the level that we're at now, but I'd always envisioned that. But I never really thought like past that, to be honest with you.
We manifested it.
That's it.
Yeah, we manifested it. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I'd be happy having 30. Never really thought into it deeply.
And then when it happens, it's like you start realising. Then when especially when we start taking on bigger projects, and it's more like you do one big project, that's fine. But when you have 2, 3, 4, 5 projects that size, it's all good to win and be there to have the manpower to run it and still keep control. Not say, yeah, we're going to take on all these jobs and all of a sudden you're losing control of the quality and not just that, you start letting builders down. Like that's one thing. Always made sure that when we say this guy's starting on a Tuesday, this guy's there on a Tuesday. Like you've got the flexibility because you have the manpower, which helps. But then you need to keep the jobs to keep the manpower. So it's a constant battle of stressing when you have too much work and stressing when you have enough. Like you always want to keep someone employed. I don't want to get to the point where I can only work for 2 weeks. So sometimes it means the job might drag you out for an extra week to keep them going on to the next. Or you have to load up a job and you get through it quicker to keep guys employed. So.
Yeah. Well, it's important to maintain your quality, especially for you because you're a finishing trade. You know, because if the plaster's fucked on a job, the whole job's fucked. And I've had jobs like that too. You know, where no, of course not. No, other plasterers. That's why you're working with us now. But no, we had, and this was a guy. But this happens too, right? Because we had a plasterer who we had only been using. Honestly, the first 5 years we were in operation. He was my only plasterer. Good plasterer, always did good jobs. Did some super high-end projects for us too.
Yeah, I think
and then there was one
project off me to give it to him. But
no,
What a great time to bring it up.
That's it. Now that we're onto that topic,
never used him again. So
I can't remember what job. Do you know what address was that?
I think it was in Middle Park or something like that. Middle Park.
Oh no, he was all right.
Story.
He was all right.
2 guys.
But so what I was getting at is we were doing this really high-end job in Malvern, and I told him, I was there with the boss. I said, "Oi, your best fucking guys here, yeah? Don't fuck around on this job." I said, I don't want anyone that is less than spectacular on this job. Don't worry, George. You know, we'll sort it out. We'll get you. Fuck the job. I ended up spending another $30,000 on plaster to fix it, to get it to where it needed to be, so we could paint it.
Level 5 everything.
Yeah, we did. We had to level 5 a whole bunch of ceilings, but not because it was it was poor workmanship. Not because it was outside of Australian standards. It's because it was poor workmanship. And from the time looking back, he probably just he grew and couldn't control his quality in his company, and as a result, I literally have never used him since. You know, and I'll continue not to, and I'm not going to.
From one job.
From one project. I won't use him again because it's not just that it was, he didn't do it intentionally, but I told you, I want your best crew. Don't, like, if you got to come here and hang plaster yourself, if you can't get your crew there, do it. Otherwise, tell me now, I'll get someone else. If you can't deliver what I need, I'll get someone else. Tell me. No harm, no foul. And as a result of that, like, I won't go back now, but even if he is good now. Right? I said, well, you've burnt the bridge for me. Like, it cost me a relationship. It cost me money. It cost me time.
So this goes one further now. People don't think, like, that's one thing, he lost you. But people don't think about the people he's going to lose from who you tell. As well. But that's, you know, like, I'll never use that guy. I don't even know his name. But I'm not using you. But do you know what I mean? Like, it's what they call the invisible hand.
If you call me, say, do you have a plaster? I say, yeah, absolutely.
Or imagine I call you and say, hey, I'm going to use so-and-so. And you're like, hey, you know, remember that Malvern job? That's right. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm like, okay, cool.
Thanks. Exactly
Wipe
right.
them off the list.
And I'm not doing that as a malicious thing.
No, you're looking out. It's like you actually have a positive intent.
That's right.
Yeah, but that guy loses out. And people don't factor that in.
You're only as good as your last project.
You're only as good as your last project.
You know, so it does come back to bite you a little bit. And look, everyone, I'm sure you guys have done jobs that haven't been to your standard as well.
100%.
All right? Everyone's done it.
Absolutely.
But how I have a strong belief in that how you act following is a massive thing. Like, whether you take the lesson, okay, that was a loss, you take the lesson, you make the next job better, or you do what you can to rectify that potential issue or whatever it might be.
I think that goes back to as well, like, employing people that are better than you.
Having the right procedures, policies,
That's it.
Systems,
personnel,
processes, quality
I've had
control.
countless arguments with people.
When things do go wrong on jobs, like we've had jobs that you turn around and you make no money on it, you know what the issues are, and you know what caused those issues. Some are out of your control. You know that's never going to happen again. It's putting things in place to know that, okay, that's not going to happen. We've all learned from it, and not just in the office, the guys on site. So they can pick up on those issues before it gets to a point that it starts costing me money. Like, because at the end of the day, we're trying to do this to make money, and when guys can pick up the issues and report it back to the site manager and back to us, you then go, I'm not going to send guys there because things aren't.
What's your favourite saying?
If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. I was waiting for it to say it as well.
Pretty good. Yeah. So that's absolutely bang on. Having the right crew there and maintaining that. Something that you've also been investing in a lot over the years, or over the last couple of years, that I've noticed is your social media presence too. Like you've been investing a fair bit on your branding and your marketing. A lot of people don't even touch that. It's probably one of the last things they look at, or they go, "Fuck, I better post a photo on Instagram this week. I haven't done it in 6 months."
This week. It's usually
funny,
this quarter.
It's funny you say that, right? This week alone, I've taken about 6 print screens of like fit out companies and plastering companies just this week alone. And I've been meaning to send them to you and say, like, look at this, like
as in what they're doing,
an
inspiration type thing.
No, not what they're doing. Just look, they're coming now. I feel like when we started, no one was doing this 4 years ago, and we got into the market, and we, with advertising and social media and running campaigns, lead campaigns, and all these types of things. And now all of a sudden, I just noticed just this week, about 6 companies, plastering companies that I'd never heard of, starting to post stuff, and all in Melbourne as well, unfortunately. So they're coming for us.
There's two things with that, right? One, obviously you got in before him, that all works. But 2 is consistency, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what I mean? Like most people post for like 2 weeks and they're like, this didn't work. And you're like, no, you didn't work.
I have an example. I went for a site inspection yesterday, actually. It was for an office fit out in the CBD. And the I think the electrical guys like, I've seen you on Instagram. I've seen your company on Instagram.
It's amazing. Your brand is huge. Your branding is huge. Like it has such a massive impact, and people, they understand it, I believe, but they just don't put in the reps.
I don't reckon now.
You know what I mean? You don't reckon?
No, I believe if you truly understand something, you won't do it. If you jump off the building, you're going to die, you don't jump off.
Yeah, correct.
Do you know what I mean? You're like, I don't think I'm going to die. No, it's going to die. You don't touch the fire because it's going to burn you. You know that.
But I think as well, going back to where we first started right at the start about, everyone trying to wear the hats, they look at that cost as like, that's costing me $2,000 a week or whatever the figure is, but they're looking at as an expense. They're not forward thinking of what that investment. Yeah, they're not thinking of the branding and the name that they're at.
It's often indirect. That's why, because they don't see it's not often that you post a video and then someone calls you up and says, "Hey, I just saw your video. That looked great. Here's a $300,000 job." And it's the same even with me. We post consistently on the business, on the building company's profile. We've won a $4.5 million project in Glen Waverley now, and I was speaking to you've priced it. I got to screw you down a little bit more. Yeah, there's a couple more trips to the football.
What's new?
That's it. Take me to have you got grand final tickets this year?
I do, actually.
That's all right. So we'll see you after that.
Yeah.
But what I was speaking to the husband, and he's like, I don't really to go on social media much. He goes, but my wife has been watching all your stuff. We love that job in Brighton and all this. That wife signed the contract for me. Do you know what I mean? Because all the content and all the branding that we were building, I never saw a dollar figure come in for that. But now I just look at it and go, hang on, I just won a $4.5 million job because this lady was able to go on my social profiles, have a look at what we're doing, build an emotional connection with me and the company. And as a result of that going, we want to use this person to build our home.
It's sometimes reassuring to people as well. Like we have builders that say sometimes you're not the cheapest price there, but they're reassured because they know you can produce the job and get guys on site, not be the delays. Some of their biggest issues on the project they've turned over 3 or 4 different trades different contractors because they haven't been able to have the guys on site to do the work. All the quality's not there.
Yeah.
For us, we're not the people that are delaying the job. We'll have 10 guys, 20 guys on site. The other guys promises it, but they've only employed 10 guys in their company.
Yeah.
Like they don't have the manpower.
Well, here's the other thing too. It's like, say you work on one of my projects and we do a video together, and then another builder sees that you've been working with me. They go, holy shit, if George uses them or if Pascon uses them, they must be good.
Yeah.
So there's that affiliation that you can do like with other companies and organizations and go, well, look, we build for these guys.
Yeah.
They don't fuck around.
Yeah.
That's why we cost this much. That's why we deliver. That's why X, Y, Z. So the collaboration that you can have and who you're working with is also really powerful too. But if you don't build that brand, if you don't pay that money to get yourself out there,
No one knows who you are.
that's right. That's right.
I think it's all thinking, touching on what you said as well, it's all thinking employee versus business. Do you know what I mean? Like 5K a month now, that's 60 grand a year. That's fucking, that could get me at this or at that or blah, blah, blah. And they're not thinking business wise. They're not thinking about what's my return? Because business is everything is money in, money out, right?
That's it.
And they're not thinking what's my return. They're thinking this is a cost.
Yeah.
It's not a cost. An employee shouldn't cost you money.
No.
It should make you money.
That's it. Same with your branding and marketing though.
100%.
And even when we started with the estimators and we put on an estimator and a second estimator, the first was like a huge step because it's just like, man, it's going to cost all this money. And once you realise that the money that they can bring in jobs that you're missing out because you can't get it.
Because you can't price it.
You can't price it. You can't price every job. So the more you can price, the more jobs you can win. It's that easy. So as that first one came, then we're like, well, we need another one because he can't keep up now. Then you get another estimator and then you go, oh, the two estimators are under the pump. You're like, well, where do you stop?
George knows.
Well, now I send you takeoffs because I know you can't do it.
We've set it up well. So one estimator just looks after residential.
Yeah.
Now, so Saddam looks after residential. He's our estimator. Mohammed looks after commercial and industrial. So they've got their separate divisions and they don't cross over. They might here and there.
They're busy.
Help each other out, but they're flat out doing their own setup, and it works. It works well.
They work longest hours in the company, I reckon.
Oh yeah, they do that.
They do.
I get a notification. Mo's locked the factory at 7 p.m. Got home, man.
But they get rewarded, and we look after them, and lots of lunches and
A lot of effort, and they definitely appreciate it.
They do.
Always look at how they can make things more streamlined, how they can make things more efficient from in the office to on site. So they're communicating with the supervisors on site in regards to material list. If something needs to be ordered, they're like, it's all just the communication in between them and site is there. So
Do you have any is there any rivalry competition between site and office, do you find? Because I remember when I was at Multiplex and the bigger companies, there was that. It was like, look at all the pencil pushers in the office, us hard slog guys slugging on site.
That's what we used to be.
But then, exactly, it's like that.
When we're building stuff on site and they're asking me to build it and I'm telling them, you can't build it.
Yeah.
The mechanical unit's too low. I can't give you the height that you want.
Just 'cause you
and he
draw.
goes, it's got to go in at that height.
Yeah.
I don't know what you want me to do.
That's what I say. I say, just because you draw a 5-legged dog
That's
doesn't mean
exactly
I can
right.
build a 5-legged dog.
That's exactly right. So
That one? That was a good saying too, yeah.
you see that a lot of times, like a lot of the jobs that we're doing, like especially some of the fit out jobs, the architectural plans, everything works on paper, but it doesn't work on site.
Yeah.
Like as we go, like, well, what has to go that high to be like, well, it can't, which means you're going to have to alter everything to make it work. And you give them multiple options what to do. But like at the end of the day, it's not my
you would be dealing a fair bit of this.
Yeah, we get a bit of it, especially on the higher end projects. But this is where if you've got good consultants on board, and I'm a logical person. Like you kill me with logic. And it's like show me how it works. Like literally before we got in here, I was sending a detail to an architect saying this is dog's breakfast. Fix it. Like it's not going to work on site. This is before we've even started. There was a box gutter detail, and I'm like, remove all of this timber and do this. Because I know when I'm on site how we're going to build it, and that's going to be a pain in the ass to do. And it's like for what to achieve what?
Purpose,
Exactly. So remove all that, change it like this, and let's go. And he's like, oh yeah, good point. I know. I know. But you get that disconnect sometimes between those areas.
I think probably the hardest thing for us is certain managers like different things. So trying to bringing them in. So we try and bring them in, once a month or, once every couple of weeks to sit down and just see is there anything that we can do better? So communication for us is a big thing.
How many senior, so say from you guys, what's the next level down? Have you got more your site, your supervisors or managers? How many guys you got there?
So the construction manager, east and west, okay, probably respectively both got 20 odd guys in each area, and then down from them we've got a couple of leading hands. Okay, then we've got 2 supervisors in the residential space. Okay, and then we've got well, your guys would probably be leading hands, but they've all got their own roles to play.
They do.
Irrespectively.
I kind of break it down for them. I think some of them were kind of like struggled at the start, like how it all works. I said, like, it's like a footy team, right? I use this analogy. It's like a footy team. Everyone's got their own role to play. If my role is to bring in the work and have that network and build the relationships, your role on site might be to get the job going and moving. Everyone's got their own role to play. And if we all play that role, then we'll all succeed.
Yeah.
That's the way I explain to the boys and use that analogy because I think it's true and it's important. Like everyone's got different roles. But if everyone sticks to their roles, everyone will win.
Do you do much in the way of training with your guys? Like getting them additional training or anything like that?
We've just set up that, we've got our apprentice carpenters, they come at our factories, and, they build walls and then the plasterers will plaster them and do their corners. So that's kind of...
I kind of try to pair them up with a senior person on site as well to get that on-site training.
Yeah. Yeah, it may even be something though that you look at from another level as well, getting people to do, say, a leadership course or do a management course or something that can benefit you in the business or even yourselves.
No, I want that.
That's always good when you look at doing your own, because you only know to the level that you've been taught. Do you know what I mean? To get to that next level, you have to go and seek someone else that has been there, done it, and then learn from that experience or that knowledge. Because to get you there,
it opens your mind to other opportunities too. Like you're so narrow-minded.
Yeah, that's right.
How something's done.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you're missing out on until you actually take a step back.
You said it before.
Another point and go, actually, no, I can do things different, or this is another way we can grow as a business. So,
and that's the thing. You said it before, where it's like we learned from our mistake. Like you not knowing the things that you know now cost you $150,000. Right now, imagine you spent $50,000 with a mentor. It would have saved you $100,000 just like that. You know what I mean? And maybe made you more.
Absolutely.
So you look at that with your employees too. And there's that saying that's like, what if we spend all this money on training and our employees leave? And it's like, but what if you don't and they stay?
Everyone's always looking for the negative, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. So if you don't, like they stay, you don't train them and they stay, it could destroy your business. Or just keep you at that line,
stay.
So with where you're at now, do you want to go to 120 employees? Like where do you see the future going with everything you're doing?
I reckon on the construction side, there's going to be a lot of growth in the next 6 to 12 months. The projects we're starting to target and we're looking to aim towards, you need to have the manpower there.
So is that more volume type projects? So would you be talking... Are you going to start talking that you're going to step into the commercial space, like big apartments, high rises and whatnot?
Oh, we've got that big one coming up for you. What is it? 3 apartments?
Where's that one?
Montclair?
3? There's 10 there. I say there's still a couple more footy trips before we go to that one too.
Not necessarily apartments. It's more like I want to target some bigger like homemaker centers and stuff.
Oh yeah, like an IKEA or whatever it might be.
But when you go to do these jobs, the jobs are done in a short period of time, so it's not dragged out for 6-9 months. It's a lot of labour in a 3-month period. So it's being able to service that labour for that 3 months whilst you're doing everything else. You can't just throw all your guys at that one job.
No, that's right. Because you'll upset all your other clients.
That's it. Find out a month, 2 months before the job starts, then you can start labouring up to take that job on. The issue is doing that you labour up and the job gets delayed 4 weeks. So you got all these guys. So
quick, do something.
It can be a catch-22. Like the biggest thing in scaling and growing is that, like as I said before, you need to have to do the jobs. You need the guys to have the guys. You need the jobs. So like it's.
I think that's any business.
Anything, but like when you get bigger, it's good because you can juggle the guys.
Yeah.
And always move them around. But like you need to obviously keep that.
But
Your overhead should outweigh your revenue, where your revenue was previously. Because then it's like, cool, like at one point, this is what we're turning over in total. And now just to keep the doors open, it costs us more than that. Do you know what I mean? That means you're growing. It's a good thing, right? Someone said it, I can't remember who it was, but it was like, where every time you're growing like that, you get imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, we're this good, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's a good feeling. That means you're fucking grown. Because otherwise, you're doing the same shit you were doing 3 years ago. What are you doing? You just wasted 3 years.
And I think for us as well, like, you know, we're looking to build good relationships with good people. It's more than just doing work for Joe Blow that treats us like shit. It's doing jobs for people that I can sit down and have a beer with, and have a good time outside of work and talk about all the good times and the great relationships that we've built over working with somebody that, you know, you just swear on black and blue at each
I
other
100% agree with you, man.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I think we're building those relationships now with, you know, 5 or 6 commercial builders, and you know, like yourself, George, we, you know, consider, you know, we've been working for you for 3 or 4 years now. You know, we can sit down, we can have a beer together. You know, we've taken a few clients in boxes this year and had a beer with them, had great nights with, and great days and afternoons with these people. And for us, that's what it's about. And you know, if there's bigger builders out there that you know, that we get the opportunity to work with, if they don't really fit into like our business model, I don't really care how big the jobs are.
I think that's important. So what would you look for in a, you know, client now? So your client being a builder, what would you be looking for as far as saying, yeah, we want to work with this person?
Well, I would say it comes down to, you know, when things, you know, change on job sites, D and C type projects. So you price the job up. You guys take 5,000 square metres of walls out of the job. We sit down, we work it out together, and, you know, you issue credits when credit is due.
There's transparency.
Transparency. It's not like you guys trying to, mate, that's on you guys. You know you should have included that. That should have been on you, and things like, you work through things like this.
It's a collaborative approach, and that's the best. That's what I found over the years. It's very often you'll hear that relationship is the builder is trying to screw over the trade to get the best price. The tradie is trying to, you know, go in by the skin of his teeth to win the job, so he gets the next one, so he gets the next one, and it's like it's lose-lose, where it should be win-win. How about that? Both of us win by getting into this relationship, not one lose, not you lose and I win because I'm making heaps of money.
That's it.
Or vice versa.
That's right.
And that's how you've got to look at it there. But you know, the stigma is in the industry that builders and trades alike, even trades too, like everyone's ripping everyone off.
It's
right.
It's terrible.
Yeah, but do you think that is existent? Do you feel that there are a lot of builders out there doing the wrong thing? Or do you feel that
There's always going to be the bad apple.
it's with everything though?
Yeah,
like it's in any industry. I can find a marketing company that does the wrong thing. Yeah. Right?
30.
Yeah. Sorry?
530.
But you can
Legacy,
exactly.
is it?
But then you can
We're
find
talking before you leave, by the way.
you got to make an extra room in a box seat somewhere. Right? But you know,
I take it, no, yeah, be adjustable, collaborative approach. Collaborative approach. Next Carlton game.
Yeah, but you can find that there's dentists that are no good. There'd be florists that are no good. There's be doctors. There'd be business everywhere. Every business has a bad thing. That's why I get really defensive and shitty, because honestly, I'm yet to meet a dodgy builder. I know you probably have more so, but I'm yet to meet one. And I coach and mentor a lot of builders. And yes, probably those ones that are coming to me for coaching and mentoring and coming to events, they're ones that are interested in bettering their company. But I find the vast majority of people genuinely want to go out there, make some money, deliver a good product, and then move on to the next job and do it again. There's not people out there going, I'm going to go out and rip off my plasterer, my painter. I'm not going to pay the concreter. I'm going to rip off my client every opportunity I get. Those people aren't good, dodgy builders. They're just assholes. They're bad business owners.
Bad business owners.
They won't last long.
They won't.
You get a bad name
Every
for yourself.
time.
You would know for ripping people off, not paying your trades.
Yep.
How long can you last for?
It's not only that.
It's only so long before
You gotta, there's an expiry date.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You being upfront, being honest, and producing the best work you can, that's going to keep you working in the future. So, for builders out there that are doing that, they're only doing that for so long.
So have you walked away from projects that you see? Have you ever had a job or a builder where you go, nah, we're happy not to price that?
Yeah. Just, I think
You don't have to name names. But
we did start just before Christmas, I think.
Yeah.
It was the start-
No, I think it was my start this year.
Start of the year.
Like 2 weeks before it started.
We just got bad vibes.
Yeah, great,
Bad
because that's
vibes,
something I've learned to follow
And then
to do as well.
we backed each other in, and we all agreed.
Yeah.
Well, probably not for us. So we just walked away from it. Like,
Good.
it's probably disappointing for the builder, but probably just wasn't a great fit for us, you know? So,
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned over the years is follow your gut.
Yeah.
We walked away from probably one of our biggest jobs. When was it? 2020. I think it was 2020, started 2020. It was a $7.5 million project, 19 townhouses. We won the job. Shook hands, said, yep, let's go. And then we got the contract early January and we're reading through it and there was all these clauses in there and like, hang on, mate. And this was during COVID, and there was stuff in there about we will not be paid for delays, for material increases. And I think it was 21 where we had the huge increases in everything, was it?
It's right after COVID.
But that's the thing, right? I followed my gut. I called him up, said, listen, we've just won a big job. It's more in line with what we do. We're doing single homes. These 19 townhouses is not really my thing. I've decided to take the business in a different direction. Thanks for the opportunity, but we're out. And I look back now and knowing after that was before all these massive price increases, that job would have sent me broke.
still getting built.
Guarantee it. They're probably still building. But whoever signed that contract, that would have been a world of hurt. Now you're looking at it and you go, okay, I'm going to make some good money on the job. Like it would have all been eaten up. I probably would have just walked away with nothing or lost money.
12 months of your life.
And that was a time I couldn't even get timber.
timber,
Right.
plaster,
So I would have had to go to like gauge steel, and even then that was fucked. I look at that job, and ever since then I've just always followed my gut. If I feel bad about working with someone from the beginning, it's like, nah, I'm out. I don't need you. Don't need you. And you mentioned manifesting before, and it's that same thing. Like you're looking at it and going, this is what I want. This is the type of person I want to work with. And guess who I start to attract? All the right people in my life and the business. And now I don't have shit clients. I don't have a single client that I would say I would never work for them before again. Or I don't see this relationship as a good one.
Because even then, especially some of our commercial builders, they're like you're working with the same trades every job. So our job is easier because I'm working with the same sparkies, the same plumbers, every single project. Everyone works in together. And I'm going to curl your studs there just to get my plumbing pipes run through. They're going to, hey, how can I make your job easier? And they're doing the same for us. So
that's
hey,
critically important.
And do this, or do this. By the time you finish framing, I can come through and start sheeting a week after because everyone is working together.
Yeah, and that's what I've realised over the years too, is using the same people. Using the same. We we didn't do it heaps, but we would try other trades. And I found that when you do that, it does work sometimes. Like I remember the first time my plumber that I use on most of my jobs now, I gave him a shot. He turned out to be a great plumber, and now I use him a lot. So you do have to get some new people in, 100%. But I find that if you always use your core group of people, that comes into play massively, where it's like they all start to work in together. They all know each other. They all know what needs to happen to get the job done.
That's it.
And it
saves you a lot of time.
Yeah, time, but it's a harmonious process, and then also it's a great way to maintain your quality on your builds. Again, they're not going to be the cheapest, but you're going to get the job done each and every time.
That's what some of our builders are doing too. They're building that team of guys to do their big projects because they know the homemaker centre we did up in Nottet, they finished it 3 months ahead of schedule. Because they know the guys can do the work. So now they're looking at building teams of guys to do it. Like a couple of builders are like, okay, it's a big project, give it to them because they know they can
That's
do it.
right.
They don't want that.
We're very much like that.
They don't want that big job to be delayed because that one trade, because that can just delay everyone. It's a snowball effect of 1 week here.
There's a flow-on effect.
1 week here can buy it to a month by the end of the job just from the flow-on effect from every trade.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge.
So as a builder, do you have any processes in place for a developer that comes to you or a client that comes to you with background on financially how they're sitting and things like that?
Yeah, well, I mean, first you got to ask for it and be open and transparent
Yeah.
as well. So cool, you're a hotshot developer.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay for this?
Yeah.
So we would often ask as proof of funds that they actually have the money in the bank if it's self-funded, or if it's from a bank, they give us a approval loan letter, say, yep, they've been approved for $3 million, $5 million, whatever it is. That's the first step. The second step would be also helping them understand their obligations to the build. That's what I found is my biggest change in how I approach a good client or engage a good client is I make sure they understand their obligations. Pay me on time, give me information when I need it. Don't come to site without calling us and saying, hey, we're coming on site, or scheduled meetings, because and you've been on a project where we had a client that was just there all the time, It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare, because then they come in, I don't want that there. So hang on, you don't understand why we're doing that. Leave and we'll sort this out. So we've put really strict parameters in place now, and as a result, our clients leave us alone and trust us to build the thing as we need to.
And probably gets harder to the clientele that you're dealing with, like the type of money that they're spending.
Correct,
They
because
just feel
that's
like,
right.
I'm spending.
So much money, yeah,
I'm allowed to come onto this
but
job
this is
site
also
whenever I
where
want,
you have to set the boundaries,
Yeah.
right? And we go as far as even saying, don't call me after 5:30.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. Do you call when you go home tonight? Are you going to call your accountant
Nah.
at 8:30?
Nah.
Right. Well, okay, but you keep going further. You're going to call.
I was calling him last night at 7:30.
But are you going to call your dentist?
Nah.
Are you going to call your butcher?
Nah.
All right. So you're not. There's a line where you need to understand that this is a professional relationship. I'm not your personal assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not your employee. I'm not your child. I'm not your spouse.
Not even beck and call.
That's right. That's right. Only call me in an emergency. And even then, like we once had one of our jobs catch fire.
Yeah.
And he was talking to you. It was literally, I was about to jump on a webinar.
Yeah.
And I called him and said, hey, my job's on fire. And he thought I was ringing him up to cancel. He goes, oh, shit, do you want me to reschedule? I'm like, no, they'll sort it out. But what am I going to do in that moment? Even at 9 o'clock in my pajamas at home, they call me up and say, the house is on fire. I said, okay, look, do you want me to bring a bucket?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want?
Call the fire brigade,
exactly.
right?
Call the fire brigade.
Yeah.
We'll let insurance take care of it. So there's not many scenarios that you could go, yeah, it's okay to call me after 6 because I'm home with my family or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And when you set those professional boundaries in place, you get a better quality client because they now go, okay, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I get it. I won't do this. We won't do that. There is a process. And when they work to that process, it's just, again, that harmonious thing. And that's why we have subcontract agreements. A lot of builders, and I don't know how many, if you work with any, they'll just do a handshake agreement and go, yeah, cool, start tomorrow.
Residentially a little bit, but not.
But even then, and this is where I'm trying to teach a lot of the resi guys, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, you do a job and I give it to you and I've shaken your hand and said, let's go. Right. I'll go, where are the access panels? Oh, they're an extra $150 each, and you need 10 of them.
Yeah.
Oh, $1,000. Like I thought you allowed for them.
Yeah.
And then but that conversation takes time. It's uncomfortable. It's okay. I'll charge you 500. So you lose 500. I lose 500. Lose.
How many times have you had where we presented a quote to a builder, and you're 20 grand higher than the next guy? How many times does that happen?
That happens to me all the time.
But this is why we try and write, and this is from my perspective, I try to write a scope of works. So that way, when you price my project, that other plasterer has priced the exact same thing. So I'm not saying exactly. But so many builders don't do that. And they go, you're 20, you're 10. Fuck, I'm going to go with the 10. Yeah, but he hasn't allowed for this, and this.
Window reveals or shadow line skirt.
That's right. And then they get them on site and they're like, yeah, cool, let's go. That's an extra. And then it becomes a bad relationship.
I had a job we priced last year for a friend of mine, and they went, like, his business partner wanted to go something like it's cheaper. And they ended up turning around halfway through the job. He's called me. He's like, I wish whoever did. He's like, they hit me with like 60 grand of variation. It would have been 20 grand more than my price.
Yeah.
They didn't allow any insulation. And they didn't allow around any of the time and ceilings.
But that's poor management by the builder.
Correct.
Do you know what I mean? That's all the builder. Just
And I said to them,
sucks to be you.
You can't compare like two quotes if it's not like for like.
But this is where they don't take that time to go, and this is where I don't write the scope of works. My employees do. I might check it if it's a complicated one, but I'm not going to sit there and write them all and then send them to everyone. No, that's your job. If I have to sit there and write scope of works for every single trade, like how am I going to ever grow the business? So this is the other thing. You might not be on the tools physically, but you can also be on the tools in your business. If you're the one processing payroll every month or every week, if you're the one sending out the quote or doing the estimating, right, that's where you're then on the business tools. And that's when, again, you can start looking at stepping back.
I think the way we present our quotes as well, it's like we get builders the way you presented this quote is like unbelievable. Everything is broken down to and highlighted to how many square meters of ceilings there are, how many square meters of walls there are, how many access panels, how many doors.
And it shows through like on the markups, like some of the show, like it makes them be able to go through our quotes so much quicker because it's all
we pick up on things that like some builders haven't even picked up on.
happens.
And then we presented our quote like, that is on the plan.
That's right.
I totally
Missed that.
Are we giving away all our secrets here?
No, that's good. I mean, I've done that too.
All the secrets.
I've had that
All
happen
the
as well.
secrets, man.
You know, because it helps though, because then you can go, okay, we need to allow for that, or maybe it's an extra to the client. You know, because we never allow for that sort of stuff.
And I'll be totally honest with you, man. I lose jobs sometimes to other plastering companies that have sent text message prices.
Yeah,
Quotes.
this is what I mean.
Like,
but-
and I just think, like, here I am. I've got like a full-time estimator pricing these jobs up, giving you, you know, particular breakdowns of each item,
Yeah.
highlighted, color-coded on a marked drawing, and you're giving this guy a job. He's $3,000 cheaper than me,
Yeah.
and it's a text message, man.
But in a situation like that, did you really lose?
No, you did, yeah, probably.
Look at
Sometimes you
I've
dodged a
never looked
bullet.
at it that way
Sometimes you
before,
just dodged a bullet. You're like,
Yeah.
Mate, that guy may never paid you.
Yeah.
and then you lose the job out.
We priced $1 million job in Truganina, the same thing. And like the guy wrote the quote and his total numbers on his quote didn't match up to his quote that he emailed the guy because it was hand done. And he's like, but when I worked out his calculations, it's different to the figure he's told me at the end. I'm like, but how are you even thinking of giving this guy a job? If you're thinking his quote that he sent you was different to the food he's and I'm like, you're going to get hit with so many variances job. I haven't allowed for that. I haven't allowed for that. I'm like, with us, it will show exactly what we're allowed. We'll show where the access is. I'll show you the door. It'll show everything. And then if everything that's on there is in the scope, then you know what you're getting. The other people are just going, oh yeah, I'll do that, or oh no.
Well, you should probably not blacklist, but you'd put them at the bottom of the pile next time they come in and quote. You know what I mean? So you might have a few of those where you price once and they go, well, you might price 3, 4, 5 times for them. And you go, listen, you could call up the boss, one of you could, and say, listen, what's going on, mate? We've priced 3 jobs for you. We haven't won one. You haven't even called me back. We're not pricing anymore.
We do that.
I think you have to, because it's harder to qualify your leads and your builders, I think, in that perspective. But for me, it's a little bit easier, because it's a higher ticket value. But for yourself, I think you got to have that level and go, look, we've priced 3 jobs for you. It's no harm, no foul, but we have a policy. If we don't win jobs, either you need to give us feedback and let us know where we're sitting.
100%.
And if we're not in the realm of where you need to be, that's fine, mate. Like, good luck with everything. We're not going to, because you have to pay your estimator to do that quote. It's not for free. It costs you money.
I'll get a builder send me over 6 jobs, like straight off the bat. Hey, seen your Instagram, you guys look fantastic. Need you to price those 6 jobs. Say to start, let's price 2, see how we're going. If they're keen, they'll call you back. Hey, Brad, how you going with that tender? Hey, Brad, how you going? Like, they're eager.
Yeah, I think it's good though. I think it's good that you build that, not like have that phone call conversation with them, that connection. Because if it's just that quote, it's flick. Ticket flick and set and forget. It's like, oh, here, price this, let me know. And then you're just a check price.
It's following up on them as well. Like,
I always call them.
Always call them and follow up to see how they went with it. Because I want feedback and know, like, sometimes you've gone for 2 or 3 meetings to these sites and then like, oh, it's between you and someone else. And then I just want to know how we sat with the quote. Like, if I didn't win the job, that's fine. Like, but you want to know, okay, did I not win because I was too cheap, it was too expensive, or was there something else at play? You just want that feedback. Yeah. Then you can go, okay, it's not like you've gone in different directions or whatever you want. You want to know what it is.
Yeah.
It allows us to grow and learn as well and better ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's concerning when the builder doesn't know what it should cost to do the carpentry, plastering, and the painting. You know exactly. Like, what
They should have established that from the beginning. But
do you know
what you do a lot of the time, a lot of these guys, they'll just do a square meter rate, which is so dangerous. And then they actually don't know their budget.
Dangerous as.
Because they'll go, oh, this house is 30 squares, it'll cost, $900,000. And they're like, oh, I built one like that much. And then they start building it, and there's, as you said, there's reveals, access panels, pelmets, like
all these things, man.
13 mil plaster, not 10. And it's like, my plastering's 120 grand. I thought it was going to cost 50.
That's just in one scope.
That's right. And then that's where they find themselves in trouble.
Everyone, like even some of the staff tender documents we get, like from when you're getting them sent across to you, and their takeoff doesn't match up what the real takeoff is. But then, like, we've had some that they go, oh yeah, just work off our takeoff, but if we win the job, you're pricing off our takeoff. Like, no, because your estimators just go through measuring something. They're not allowing for reveals, and not allowing for different finishes on the job where my estimators are. So your takeoff is never going to reflect my takeoff because they're not allowing for it.
But then it's also
saying you're going to stick to my price.
Yeah, that's not taking. They're trying to take their risk away by putting it onto you, but that doesn't work. because then you'll just say, no, I'm not doing the job.
Exactly.
Like when
Here's my price. Like,
yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, that's just the building game, isn't it? Realistically, and
a little bit like that. So how do you see things at the moment as far as the industry is concerned? You said you guys are busier than ever. Are you seeing a slowdown? Or are you seeing growth? Where are you guys are at the moment?
I think the first 6 months have been quite cruisy, to be honest with you. I think like when everything's just running smoothly and you haven't got builders yelling at you saying, hey, I need 3 guys here, I need 6 guys there, I need 10 guys there. For me, that's perfect. When that actually gives us more time to be working on our business and potentially grow other things. It's when, we're about to come into like a very crazy period, with Black Street about to kick back off and, some Huntingdale's kicking off, which is 150 warehouses, and we've got a church going, we've got all these big projects. So you can just feel, you can just feel it's coming.
Before the storm.
Yeah.
The residential side of things, we've probably got 40 houses to plaster in the next 2 or 3 months. I can just feel it. It's coming. Right. So the first 6 or 7 months has been quite good. In saying that, we haven't really been searching for work, but we've got the 3 different divisions where we can float guys to and from. So if the residential side of things is a little bit quiet, I can throw my maintenance plasterers over to Lockie and start doing insurance work and things like that, or vice versa with the maintenance guys with the construction side of the business. So it works quite well between the 3 of us, and it's about to go bananas, man, for us. I reckon we're going to probably have to put on between 15 and 20 staff in the next probably 2 months.
100 guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. That's excellent.
So, and that'll probably be like that for the next year, I would say.
Who knows? Like, so as I said, some of the projects are starting to aim towards, that could open up so much more work. Like, it might be just that one project. They might see what you do there, and other people will see it and just go on. So the sky.
Have you guys got, or you've got families and kids and all that? So how have you found balancing your work, or not, I don't hate the word balance, but how have you found with the blend between work and life?
I think we're off the tool, so it kind of, in that sense, it's good. I don't have to be on site at 7. I can be in the office at 8 or 9. But then again,
especially if you've got your business partners there too, you know what I mean? They can help out.
But in saying that, I'm probably still working at 7 o'clock at night, and my kids are trying to play with me. My hardest part, I've got to send this email, I've got to just schedule this in. And then sometimes I think to myself, just put the phone away for a second.
That's right.
Stop trying to you can go back to that when they're asleep, It's not holding you up. But then, that's what I think I struggle with a bit, is like letting go of the work. Because my brain is constantly.
You've got young kids as well.
I'm out for dinner the other night, and I'm like forecasting what I'm going to be doing the next 3 days and who I'm going to allocate there, but I'm like out for dinner.
In saying that though, his role within the company is a lot different to mine and Damien's, right? So he's probably doing 20 jobs a day. You know what I mean? Like, there's some guys are doing 2 to 3 jobs. Things go wrong. Joe blows at the job. He can't find the key to get in the house. Like, the owner's not opening the door. The scope isn't matching up to what it is. Like, it is just constant. It is absolute chaos. So for his role, compared to myself and Damien,
it's easy is what he's trying to say.
Like with the bigger projects, like me and Damien can kind of go home and like be done with it. We might have a phone call here or there.
A couple of brothers calling it 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but that's, you get used to it.
But just to butt in, his role is a lot different to ours. Like, with responsiveness, like, he'll look at a job, they need to quote that day. Yeah. Like, Lockie looked at the job today, I need to quote today.
Yeah. I think what you got to be mindful, this is something that helped me a year ago, a couple of years ago, because you've got young kids as well. Yeah. They're only kids once. Yeah. They're going to get to an age where they're going to be 16 years old, and you're going to be like, hey, Peter, come sit on my lap. It's like, Dad, fuck off. I'm playing. I'm going out with my mates. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, and it's like they're going to get to. That's right. That's right. But you get to that point where to your kids now, you are their whole world.
Yeah, that's it.
You are their whole world. They don't give a fuck about the quote that you have to send. Yeah. And I promise you, next year, that quote that you sent that night at 7 p.m., it's not even going to matter. You're like, you know what? Fuck. I should have just stayed and played with them. Because I had Dad come and play. Dad, let's do this. Let's do this. Because you're at work all day. What time do you get home?
Some nights I'm still.
Yeah, that's
I'll
right.
go home and then I'll work at like till 10:30, 11 o'clock at
Yeah.
night.
So, but then your kids are there and they're doing whatever they're going to do. So they'll see you for what, an hour, 2 hours a night, whatever a day. So you've got to make sure.
every 3 weeks. Though, yeah.
What was that?
He does take them to Bali every
Look, that's
3 weeks.
fine. And I've got
a pretty good trade.
I'm trying to make pretty good trade off, man. I'm trying to make up for it.
That's it. But look, as long as you're present during that time that you're either at home or on holiday.
Presence, man.
That's
It's
right,
not
it is.
Being home, being
100%
home, on the
bang
phone.
on.
That's
Yeah.
right.
It's being present.
That's right.
That's the biggest thing for me. I'm telling myself I'm at home.
Yeah.
I'm at home sitting there watching a movie with my missus and I'm sitting there on my phone.
Yeah.
Reading emails and replying to emails.
That's right.
But
You got to break out of that habit.
But
You got
when
to
you're doing something, it's like the phone, you see the notification, you see
Right.
you're looking at the notification.
That's right.
But
Okay,
you're
you
not
just said
present
it.
because of the
Okay.
notification.
So this is what I want you to do. All right, if you're going to walk away out of with something today, put your phone's got the different modes that you can put on it, like do not disturb. Set it so every night at 6 p.m. it goes to do not disturb.
Yeah.
That Apple phone, fuck it off. Apple Watch, sorry. I used to have one too.
They're dangerous, aren't
No,
they? Yeah.
do you know what it is? It's a distraction.
Yeah.
It's a distraction. You'll be working, right? You're there, you're working on your computer, ding.
Yeah.
And it's just that 1 second
Yeah.
that it distracts you,
Yeah.
takes your focus off here, and then it's like, oh. Or if say I'm calling you and busting your balls about something, fuck, what's he want now? Right? So then it gives you that almost a level of anxiety, and it's like because my phone doesn't stop, so I was always doing this, and it was sometimes clients and subbies and suppliers, and it's like, leave me alone. And it wasn't until I broke it. It fell off my wrist and it broke, and then I went back to wearing an analog watch, and I was like, my phone would ring, and I was like, oh. Like it felt so good, not that my wrist wouldn't bother me. And I will never buy another smartwatch ever again. And now my phone goes home on the charger, and when my kids are in bed, if I want to, I'll pick it up. That's why a lot of people, the only people that can contact me are on my favorites, and that's it. That's it. Because when you get to work the next day, everything you'll deal, it's going to be there. It's going to be there. When you die, touch wood, long time, you're going to get emails the next day. All right. The next day, you're going to have an inbox full of fucking emails.
Even for me, like at night, like when you're thinking that, oh, I need to do it now, I've always been the person that when you think it, you do it.
Yeah.
To the point now, I just write a list of everything. So every time I'm thinking about what I need to do, rather do it then and email then or message or whatever, it's just on a list. So the next day when you get to work, you open your list, then you can start at the top and work your way down, rather than sitting there at 9 o'clock at night, replying to emails or sending emails out.
Oh, this has been a great chat.
Appreciate
I'm
it.
looking forward to seeing, in a year's time where you're going to be. Because you've had so much growth in really a short amount of time, and you're telling us now you're going to hire another 20 people. I just hired one person the other day, and I'm like, holy shit. And then I'm about to hire another person, and you're talking about 20. A lot of people don't even get out of their way of hiring a single person, and you're at, 30 direct employees, 30 contractors, and you're going to put on another 25. So looking forward to seeing the journey as far as where you're going to be in the next 6 to 12 months.
I appreciate it, man.
And then we can even look at getting you back on and saying, yep, we're broke, or no, we did it. We're doing it.
Just depends how quickly you want guys to black straight.
That's it. That's it.
I appreciate you having us, man. It's
Thank you.
it's always nice to sit down, and this is our first podcast. So it's
Oh, is
something-
it?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's
this
good.
is something that we've been talking about doing for quite some time, and I appreciate you guys having us here today.
No, not at all. I mean, the whole thing about our podcast called $1 Million Days, it's not really got that much to do with the monetary value of what we're doing. It's about
bank
people
account.
doing bottom line. It's about people doing things that are extraordinary and above the norm.
Yeah, well, we got a big thing about don't play so small.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, stop fucking around. Stop doing the little things. Stop following all the rules and live a life that, one day you're going to lay down, you're going to close your eyes, you're probably never going to open them again. Know that when that time comes, you look back and you say, you know what? Okay, this is a good fucking crack. Yeah. Okay, this is a good
Both
crack.
you guys have got successful businesses and that, like I'm sure you've got plenty of people coming up to you asking you, how have you done this and how have you done that, you know what I mean? And something to be proud of, even for you both as well, because like both your presence on social media for us, we see it daily and weekly, and I see George's head probably way too much, but
It's only when your missus starts saying it that you got to worry, mate.
half our luck.
But yeah, and that's exactly that mantra that we try to live by, and I think it resonates with the story that you guys have said today, and it should be a bit of an inspiration to anyone listening to this or watching this now. Is that you guys only were 3 years ago you had the two of you, see what I mean, or the four of you. There was four of you in the business, and you fast forward 2.5 years now, and you've got close to 60 people. It's a great achievement, and it just shows that you're not playing small. You're really giving it a nudge. So good on you for that. I love saying that.
Let's close with this. If you could tell yourself something right now, knowing everything you know now, you can tell yourself something from 3 years ago from when you were first starting, because I'm sure you've grown a lot in that period. What would you say to yourself?
What would I say to myself? You go.
I reckon it's like you have to don't doubt yourself. Like you can't doubt yourself in these situations. Like taking that next step is so daunting, but once you take it, you don't look back.
I think that's a message that's relevant at every day, every week. Do you know what I mean? Like you need to take that next step.
I think for me, it's like just back yourself as well. Like I'm in this position for a reason, and just trust yourself and back yourself, and put faith in yourself and your capabilities that you can get the job
It'll
done.
work out.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
Back yourself,
So say for me, I remember, every time we like early days we were about to take the next step, and it was like, like we're going to buy our first car or we're going to buy our second car. I was always that one, like we were talking about before, like shit, that's another expense. Like shit, that's another expense. But I didn't really look at it in a way that, hey, you're putting on a guy that's going to be bringing in income that's going to cover the wage of that car, and you should charge a little bit more. Do you know what I mean?
But we're not taught that.
Yeah. You're not taught that. So don't be scared. Like I was that now. And now, let's put another estimator on, or let's.
Yeah, now you're like, quick, let's hire more people. Everyone's like, slow down.
So don't be scared. Follow your processes. Give everything a crack. Don't say no to anything. I feel like we would knock them back jobs because we're like, we're going to be too busy, like early days. But now it's like, we'll make it work.
Say yes.
Figure it out.
We never knock back anything.
Yeah, figure it out along the way.
Figure it out.
Have you ever had people around you, friends or family, to say, "Oh, like slow down, like you're playing too big"? Do you ever get people saying, "Oh, you've changed," or "Why are you trying to do so much?" Do you ever get people say these are limiting beliefs that other people put on you because they've given up on their dreams, and then they see your success or you giving it a fair crack, and then turn around and like want to try and bring you back down? And often it's people that love you, not because they want to see you fail. They're just trying to they're trying to protect you from failing. Hey, don't go and employ another 20 people. What's wrong with you? What if this happens? What if this happens? Then you're fucked.
It's a limiting belief or can do something that's happened with them.
That's right.
I think we've had a lot of people that have had businesses and scaled up and then scaled back and said, hey man, it's not nice up there, man. Stay around your 10, 15 guys. It's much more comfortable. Easy to manage and things like that. But they mustn't have had the right processes in place to keep scaling up. Because
do everything themselves.
Because for us,
they did something wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm under the pump. It doesn't feel like these guys are pulling their hair out.
See for yourself.
Feels like I'm on the pump every day. I've got rain the last 3 months.
But you're not at breaking point where you're thinking about throwing in the towel and things like that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's too much. Because we've got the help around us. So yeah,
it's having the help around you, having the other two guys to help offset stuff too. Like there's 3 people to help make decisions. There's 3 people to help do the work. It's not a one person trying to do everything. That's a problem. When you're one person trying to do everything yourself, you're bound to fail.
Yeah.
But the 3 directors, the construction managers and the estimators, there's nothing that we can't figure out. You know what I mean? It's like you've got so many people to bounce things off. What do you reckon about this? What do you reckon about that? Like,
and you listen to it too, not just having them there and go, okay, no worries.
Yeah.
Listen to them. At the end of the day, they're the guys on the ground doing the work. They're the guys that know what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah, excellent. So anyone listening to this now, if they want to get in touch with you boys and reach out and get you to price a job that they're never going to call you back on, where can they reach you? Or where can they find you guys?
Probably we've got a website, and also probably our Instagram is
Instagram's a big one. Yeah.
Instagram's a big one, and because
So what's your tag on Instagram?
Precise Group AU.
Yep.
because all our work is showcased on there. All our recent works are showcased on there.
Yeah. Or your website. And what's your website?
www.preciseplastering.com.au.
Don't send them there.
Yeah, but
That was done in like year one.
Oh, you might sounds like you need to have a chat to Robby after the show.
it's not really monitored. So, but I think our Instagram there's got all our details.
Excellent.
On Instagram.
We've got capability statements and stuff set up. So all you need is one of the. We just need somebody's email address. We'll send over a capability statement. Depending on the project, if it's a commercial project or a residential project, myself and Damien will come out, present our capabilities and things, and showcase our projects that we've done before, and go from there.
Fantastic. All right, guys. Thanks so much for coming down today. Appreciate having a chat with you. And, some people need to also find us. And the way you do that is just subscribing to the channel. Just click that button, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell all your family, follow us on all the socials. And if you don't, you are a massive failure.
And share it with your mother.
That's it. Thanks, guys. Speak to you next time.
Thanks,
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.